Good morning, real estate agents, new real estate agents in particular. I wanted to talk to you about a special subject that really is hitting home lately for me, and that is the idea of working really hard, really working hard, and what it means to be a hustler, a grinder, a 10Xer, a crush it kind of person. And are you this kind of person? Like, are you the kind of person who doesn't mind the hustle, doesn't mind the grind, doesn't mind getting your hands into the dirt and mixing the chemicals in the laboratory and having things blow up and then going back in and doing it again? You see, there's this theory out there right now about work-life balance, and that there is no such thing as work-life balance. I don't agree. I think that there's no balance at all except for what's in the universe. I don't want to get meta, but the truth is that if you're happy, that is the balance. If you're not happy, then there is no balance. The secret to life is leaving a legacy. I'm convinced of that. Leaving a mark in the world, regardless of the size and shape of the mark that you leave behind. That is your legacy. But if you're miserable about doing it, you can be miserable with a lot of money and you can be miserable with a little money. But I gotta tell you, it's a lot easier to deal with stuff when you have money and you don't have to worry about that. I've been there and I've been not there. And working hard for me just indicates to me that I'm not afraid of enjoying it. If you guys are out there really upset about your failure, your inability to capture listings, your inability to generate leads, your inability to keep up with the marketplace, you're completely overwhelmed with all of the different approaches that you're being, especially as a new agent, holy cow. When I was first starting in this real estate business, there were 3 gurus. There was Zig Ziglar, well, maybe 4. Zig Ziglar, which really wasn't real estate. There was Tom Hopkins, Mike Ferry, and Floyd Wickman. And that was it. And if you wanted to get knowledge on the real estate industry, you had to go to them. There would be seminars, and that was it. You could have cassettes. They would have cassettes that you could purchase, and you would listen to them, and that was it. You would have one guru. You would follow their methods, and it would work. But now enter this real estate era. Enter the iPhone technology. Enter the change in the marketplace, the Great Recession. This culmination of things that have happened, especially since social media came about. Everybody likes to think that the real estate industry has changed. But the only thing that the internet, if that's the change we're talking about, the only thing that has changed is print advertising. That is the only thing that this device, that this technology has impacted. Communication for the consumer to get information on what it is we do and what they want. And 50 years ago, it was the newspaper, it was television, and that was it. Print ad, you send it to their mailer. Now all of this, it just replaced farming to the consumer. Communication is still one way in many cases with this device, because you're sending out a broadcast trying to get a call to action to get the consumer to call on you. So if you're taking courses and trying to master the technology on how to generate leads, generate contacts, to me it's the equivalent of going back to 1993 when I first started in the business and going out and taking hundreds of courses on how to mail out postcards, which would be absolutely insane. You would think to yourself, that's strange, just mail out a lot of postcards and you get the results as long as they're clean and they got a call to action. But see, that's what we're failing to realize in this industry, is that it's making us miserable and it's making us work harder because we keep seeking out all of these new and clever and these avenues. And the problem is that there's so many gurus in the industry right now teaching or speaking what they think might be the case based on previous success, but not duplicatable success. To each his own. Everyone's got their own avenue. That's why there is still no one diet that cures them all. That's why there's still no one aspirin that gets rid of the headaches, that there's this variety that says, I don't like this, I don't like that, this one works better for me. Because what works for one does not work for everyone. Same goes for work hard, play hard. If you are not interested in working really, really, really hard in this business, but you can make it happen, you can survive, you can pay the bills, you can enjoy your life, you can be with your kids and your family and your friends, and you can create this lifestyle that you anticipated, expected, and achieved in this business, then by all means do it. But then there's the select few. I liken it to the military. I was in the Army, and I'm in the middle of reading this book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. It's probably going to end up being one of the greatest sales books and motivational books in history. But if you guys are familiar with David Goggins, I'm getting alerts here. If you guys are familiar with David Goggins, the guy is he's a straight up badass. He is an amazing human who has overcome tons of obstacles against all odds to become what most would consider superhuman. A Navy SEAL, ultra marathon runner, I mean, just raised, abused, and now he's a best-selling author, and he's an intense endurance athlete, and he's got all these accolades to his name. He served our country and actually went into battle. He rubbed elbows with most of those heroes that you see in the movies on TV. I mean, the guy's he's super inspiring. What I'm getting at is he's a hard worker. And when I liken our real estate career, our industry, yeah, the Audible version, by the way. Thanks, Mary. Hi. Oh, I didn't even see people coming in. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Rose, Brad, Stacy, Lori, Jesse. Thank you, Mari. Absolutely, Marie. The Audible version is the only way to go. I don't care if you don't like Audible. They're saying that the way that he did this Audible book was revolutionary. It's like half podcast, all book reading. But yeah, absolutely super inspirational. But what I'm getting at is that when you join the military, for example, there's the civilians, there's the people who don't join. They just don't join because they're like, screw that, I'm gonna do something else. And then there's the people who join the military. They go in and they sign up. When you join the military, you pick a career, kind of like when you go to college. It's a major. And in the military, I was 11 Bravo, which is just a grunt. You don't do anything, but you could rise to the top to be, the infantryman. You can go on to be Green Beret, Special Forces, Ranger, all that stuff. I originally had an ambition to do that, and then I'm like, never mind. But what I'm getting at is the level of discipline that someone has to go from standard military, just going and joining the military, to saying, you know what, I'm gonna go in and be like a Navy SEAL. It's incomprehensible just how ridiculous. I mean, just the water tests that they have to go through, like pretty much drowning. Like, you guys okay with drowning? Because that's pretty much what you do. A couple days. You almost drown a couple times, and they're like, don't worry about it, we'll come out and resuscitate you, get back in the pool, or you're gonna fail. And there's so much discipline and so much fear that what I did when I was I didn't go that far, obviously. I wasn't going there. But I do recall a time in my military that I said, when I get out of here, all I want, just get me out. I don't want to do this anymore. I want an honorable discharge. And if I get out of here with my honorable discharge alive, I'm going to take, even if I took 10% of what I did here and had to do here and do to survive here, if I took 10% of this and I applied it and I went back home, and I got into the family business of real estate, and I took my license and all that stuff, I would be number one. There would be no doubt that I would be the greatest. And I never forgot that feeling of wanting to be the best and taking it with me. And I left, and roundabout way, I didn't jump right into the real estate business. I took theater and got into acting. And anyhow, what I'm getting at is, that level of discipline, that level of drive, that level of intensity and desire and passion to succeed never left me. But I got complacent. I started, in 1993, I worked my ass off, made a ton of money, lost a ton of money, made a ton of money, lost a ton of money. My arm's getting tired, but this is important to tell you. But what happened was the one thing that I didn't anticipate, and that was 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, hitting rock bottom. That bottomness, that emptiness, being able to never leave the industry, to survive that and come back out alive, has lit a fire so deep inside of me that depth of loss has lit a fire so fierce inside of me that I came back out of that and I said, never again will I let myself get in this position when the market recovers. Oh my God, if only I had worked this hard in 2003 to 2006 and held my money and didn't buy the boat and the RV and the houses and the 7 Series and the Hummer and all that crap and vacation 3-4 months out of the, if I had just, give me one more good market and I will work. And then it came. 2012, 13, 14, 15. That market came back. And here it is, 10 years later? 8 years later since I'd say 9 years. Well, 2012 was rock bottom for me. They say Armageddon, the end of the world was 2012. It was for Festini. But out of the ashes rises the phoenix, and I came back. Thank God the foreclosures, that I don't have to deal with banks or REOs or short sales. But the one thing that left me with was this unshakable fear of that market happening again, or the loss of my ability to have unlimited potential in this industry. Losing your license or losing the industry, it scares the piss out of me. So ladies and gentlemen, that is why I work my butt off. That is why I don't have any problem working as hard as I can to achieve the level of success that I feel is necessary for me, because I'm not reluctant to go out and say, you know what, I'm just gonna work my ass off. I'm just gonna do it. I'm not gonna let anybody else tell me. I'm not gonna let anybody else tell me what is right and wrong. I'm here on vacation with my kids at Great Wolf Lodge in Garden Grove. But what that's doing is giving me a chance to unwind for 24 hours. And then I'm gonna go back and hit it hard, which leads me to asking you, are you hard? My philosophy for 2019, my mantra, is gonna be work hard, play hard, get hard, stay hard. Are you soft? Does it bother you that you're soft? Because if you're soft and it doesn't bother you, then this might not be the right message for you. You're fine. You're good. You don't need to make much. You don't need or want more. But if you're healthy, if you're cut of the same cloth that me and David Goggins and Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone and all these people who really want to work, and they're not working themselves into a position where they're not giving their family time, that they're not losing themselves, that they love what they do, and given the choice, they would rather work their ass off in this market than work their ass off in a different market or a different place. I know of no other, I don't have another choice. Like everything I know about technology and sales is only real estate related. I don't have a choice. That's what makes me work so hard. Do you have a choice? Do you have an option? Do you guys have another income? You see, when people come to me and do one-on-one coaching, and I find out that they have a choice, that they have a second income, or that their spouse can support them, that they don't have to work, that's one of the biggest obstacles in real estate, is when you don't have to. And I say, you don't want to have to. You don't want to have to but you have to want to. Meaning, you don't ever want to have to do this. 2012, I didn't want to have to do it. I had to survive, but it was 2012. There was no other choice. I didn't want to have to, but I had to because I had no other choice. It was freaking miserable. Now, in 2019, once again, you don't want to have to, but you have to want to. And when you come in and you start doing this real estate business, if you don't have to, you have a choice. You get complacent. You think, man, I don't have to, so I can take the day off. And then it's very hard to want to if you don't have to. Am I making sense? So this week, I've decided, because the market is changing, because it is getting a little bit sketchy out there, inventory's low. I am not used to not getting several listings in January, and I got no listings in January, and I'm a listing agent. My industry depends on it. My marketing, my advertising, when I spend money on Facebook, Trulia, Zillow, Realtor.com, which I'm against, unless you have a listing, then it's absolutely worth it. When I spend money on that, I gotta have a product to market. I don't market myself because people don't click on, hey, I like this guy. No, you gotta have a listing. You don't have a listing, you don't have Facebook advertising. I think that's one of the things they should tell you when they try to sign you up for a Facebook course, is say, you got any listings? No? Then don't bother advertising on Facebook, because what are you gonna advertise? What's your home worth? Come on, people. That's so 2013. That worked once upon a time. Check out these cool pictures of these houses, and then they click on it. They're not interested in real estate, they're interested in houses. They're the same people who watch HGTV. They're not thinking of selling. What are you gonna say? Thinking of selling? Who clicks on that? Your competition? Is it gonna be enough? Can you spend enough to find people who are interested in selling in a market where the inventory is so low that you're throwing darts into the air and hoping that it hits the target? It's really, really hard right now. The consumer is savvy. The real estate agents are faster. They're smarter. They're spending more money, the ones who are succeeding. But if you look at the original real estate agents, if you look at the ones who are successful and they're at the top, you're gonna find one thing in common: money. They're spending a lot of money on keeping themselves on top. Money that you probably don't have. The other thing you probably find in common is tenure. They've been there for a long time. So if you're trying to compete with a real estate agent who's been in that marketplace for more than 10 years, how? Spend twice as much money and maybe in 5 years you'll catch up to them? Oh, and work twice as hard and maybe in 5 years you'll catch up to them? So what can you do? What can you do if you want to become a Navy SEAL? If you read that book, what do you want to do? What do you got to do if your grades suck and you can't pass the ASVAB test to get in to be a Navy SEAL, and you're 100 pounds overweight and you want to be a Navy SEAL, just like David Goggins in the book Can't Hurt Me? What does he do? He studies his ass off and loses the weight in the most insane and extreme possible way, but he has a vision, he has a goal, and he does it. But that's not all. He goes on to be way more than that. You've got to be sick. You've got to be obsessed. You've got to be focused. You've got to be ultra. You see, a normal marathon, if you're in the marathon play, I've run 7 marathons, and marathon by definition is 26.2 miles. It's a mathematical, the word marathon means 26.2 miles. It doesn't mean anything else. So when people say they run a marathon, and then you ask them how far did they go, and if they don't look at you like, what are you, an idiot? It's 26.2. If they say like, oh, 6 miles, that's not a marathon, you ding dong. 26.2 miles. Half marathon's 13.1. Anyhow, I get defensive on it because people don't know that that's a marathon is 26.2. Anyhow, an ultra marathon is 100 plus miles. I can't even wrap my head around it. 26.2 miles when I do 26.2 miles when I do the marathon, I'm ready to die. I could not imagine doing it a couple more times. And this guy, David Goggins, went on to do an ultra marathon in the Mojave Desert several times in the heat of the summer in like 110, 120 degree weather. Just insane. You have to go ultra. This right now, this is your calling, this is your message, a lengthy one, but this is your moment right now, this is your time. I've launched a brand new challenge. Last year we had good success with the Beast Mode Lead Gen Prospecting Challenge. I don't have the money to spend on a ton of leads, on maybe leads. I don't have the money. If I could spend the money, if you gave me 10 grand right now and said spend it wherever you want, I wouldn't know where to spend it because there's no guaranteed place where you can spend money and get listings. You will get inquiries and you will get buyers, and maybe those buyers will convert into listings, but they will not be, I'm thinking of selling my house. That's really a long shot. I know, because I paid the companies that did it the best, and those companies are struggling right now because they can't do what they used to do because the consumer is savvy. The market has saturated that avenue of lead generation for listings. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it's not working. I'm just saying it's not as effective as it used to be. So what are you going to do about that? You got to go ultra. You got to get extreme. If right now you take this challenge, I'm taking it because enough is enough. I got one more round. Who knows where this market's going to be in 1 year? It's clearly changing. The market that crashed in 07, 08, 09 didn't hit me till 2012. So I survived. I continued to have a good time, work hard, play hard from, 07 to 12 before it hit me. Is this happening now? Am I going to be stupid enough to think that in 2019 it doesn't happen? It's not like a firecracker that pops and then it's done. This is a slow burning fuse, and there's never a kaboom. There's just the oh crap moment years from now, and I'm not letting that happen again. If you haven't lived through it, then you don't know. If you have an option, then you don't care. But if you are ready to go ultra, if you're ready to do extreme, I launched a new challenge. I'm starting Monday. You start whenever you want. There's no time set on this thing for me personally. I begin Monday. It's going to be called the Beast Mode Lead Gen Ultra Marathon Prospecting Challenge. It's a mouthful, but it's intense. I am committing to knocking on 150 doors every day, Monday through Friday. 150 doors. Totally possible. Don't think so? I did it Tuesday. I did it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then I'm going to go back into the office and I'm going to speak to 150 people by phone. Not dial 150 numbers. Speak to 150 people by phone. Every day for the next 100 days, for me personally, I'm going to go out and make 300 attempts at a sale every day, Monday through Friday. And then at the end of the week, I'm going to have 1,500 attempts at a sale in 1 week. Do you know what that's going to do? It's going to do a lot. At the end of the month, I'm going to have 6,000 attempts at a sale. Do you have any idea what that's going to do to my business? And then at the end of the 100 days, I'm going to have over 18,000 attempts at a sale. What would it do? It's physically possible. If you are working full-time from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., because that's full-time in real estate, by the way. I'm not talking 9 to 5. You don't work at the bank. You want to work at the bank, go work at the bank. Real estate is 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. If you are like me, I have 4 kids. I've got kids. It's not like I got freedom here. I got kids. If you work from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., that's 11 hours. If you door knock for 3 hours and you prospect for 4 hours, that is 7 hours. You still have 5 hours. My math bad? 4 hours. You still have plenty of time to do whatever the hell it is you do now. Search social media, play Fortnite, take your kids to school and back, go to soccer, come back, take them to the game, take them to the play. You can work around this. If you have extreme time management, there's plenty of hours in the day. You don't believe me? Then you're not hard. You're not desperate. I don't want to be desperate. I never want to be desperate. And I'm not saying do this for the rest of your life. I'm not saying you have to do this forever. I'm saying you do this till you get to the top. David Goggins did what he had to do till he passed the test, but he wasn't done yet, and neither are you. This ultra prospecting challenge is It's not the destination. The destination is to get you to the top and then be a top agent. It's not going to end there. You can repeat it. It didn't end when he passed the ASVAB. It didn't end when he went through BUDS, the Navy SEAL training. He still went on to do more and more and more. And if you want more, be more, do more, get more. If you're hungry enough and you like doing this, if this makes your stomach upset, then back off. But if this pumps you up, if you're jacked, you're just like, F this, I'm ready to go. I want to kick some real estate. I like this. I came in for this. I love this shit. Remember that movie, Triple X, where Vin Diesel, what was his name? Xander Cage, maybe? He's like, I live for this shit. This is what I'm talking about. If you guys want to get ultra, you want to get extreme, go to my website, jamesfestini.com/training. It's $300, 100 days. Every day you're going to log into a platform. You're going to watch one video that's going to tell you how to do this. And all of the other videos are going to tell you the scripts, the dialogues, you know, the objections, the role play scenarios, the questions and answers, what to drop off, how to do this. 100 days. I'm going to teach you 100 videos, or I'm sorry, yeah, 100 videos over 50 hours of video training for $300. But it's not the $300 you should be worried about. It's what am I gonna do once I make 18,000 attempts at a sale? I'm gonna have to hire an assistant. You shouldn't be sweating the $300. You can cancel Zillow, TrulyARealtor.com. You can put your coaching on hold. Whatever the hell it is you were about to drop a dime on, give it 3 months. Give me 3 months. Give me 100 days. Give me everything you got, and I will turn you into a total prospecting badass. Yes, there's gonna be a lot of door knocking and cold calling. If that's not for you, then move on. I don't know what else to do. I don't know any other choice. But if that is for you, and if you're not afraid to go out there and do what you thought you were gonna do, or maybe someone told you might have to do, if you're not afraid of drowning to become a Navy SEAL, then go get some. If you're afraid of losing your position in this business, everything that you worked hard for to get here in the industry has now fallen out from under you. Did you come in and join a team? Were you a team leader and you thought, man, I could do this forever, and now none of those leads are coming in anymore? None of that TrulyARealtor.com, Zillow, Facebook advertising isn't working. You know why? Because you didn't realize that you were only replacing print ads. That's all you were doing. All you did was replace print ads. The print media isn't working as well anymore. That doesn't mean the basics ever left. The basics are there. If you truly believe that you're a strong agent and that you're doing a good job and that you know this is legal, we're not doing anything illegal, that if you really are a good agent and you care about your client, you should have no problem picking up the phone or knocking on the door. If they don't want what you have, you leave. That's why my script is there. It's all designed. It's turnkey. You just have to walk in and work. If you're ready to work, join me. jamesfestini.com/training. $300. Yes, it's a lot if you're not making much money. It's not a lot if you don't have a choice. You spend how much to get your license? You spend how much to keep your license? You spent how much last month on advertising that didn't work? You spent how much on notepads, post-it cards, pop-in gifts, Christmas cakes, whatever the hell you spent on that didn't work? This has to work. Why does it work? Because it's the basics. The two final frontiers for communicating with people, by phone and face-to-face. That's it. There is no other active method, never has been, never will be. They're back to basics, guys. Let's get to work. jamesfestini.com. Thanks for listening to me, man. I had to tell you this. It's important.